XRP Army, I have an important tip for you today from none other than Donald Trump and the Federal Reserve. There are also a lot of other things going on that will have huge effects on the market. In today's video, I'll talk about everything and really get to the heart of what counts. The first piece of news I want to talk about is what President Trump recently wrote on his Truth Social account. It was pretty much the same thing as saying Ukraine couldn't win the war with Russia because Biden wouldn't let them fight back. The message has changed from peace talks to saying that Ukraine might want to go on the attack. This is a very interesting change. It's very interesting, and it makes me think that the peace talks between Russia, Ukraine, Europe, and the US are breaking down. At this point, it looks like Trump is moving in the opposite way to start fighting back and trying to take back land. We're going to see what that looks like if that's really the way he wants to go. I know this was very general language, but it sounds like a form of conditioning to me, especially when I think about how leaders talk before big events. To say it again, Trump often doesn't tell you what he's going to do next. This might just be something that is meant to be taken in the wrong way. But I think the most important thing that gives us a pretty good idea of what's going on is the Federal Reserve, and more specifically what's going on with Governor Lisa Cook. Lisa Cook said in a post this morning, or actually very late yesterday, that she will not be forced to step down. This happened after Trump said he had found fake mortgage papers from Fed Governor Lisa Cook and that he would charge her with a crime if she didn't resign. This was basically just plain blackmail. It is what it is, love it or hate it. Here, Trump is using this to reach a goal that I think we would all like to reach, lowering rates, especially in the cryptocurrency and investing markets. That means something to us. This was Lisa Cook's first answer to that. And we did get a few different stories about what's going on this morning. The Department of Justice said they are going to look into Fed Governor Cook. Officials from the DOJ are now asking Fed Chair Powell to fire her. Now everyone is looking at Jerome Powell. What is Jerome Powell going to say? Will he just keep quiet? Are they going to court to settle this? We'll see. At the same time, the US has revealed a huge trade deal with the EU that will lower auto tariffs to 50% from 25% and bring $750 billion into the US. This is a huge win for the US. Okay, but with that in mind, I think we need to pay attention to the Fed again. Based on the latest numbers, a different Fed member, not Lisa Cook, but Fed member Hamak, says she doesn't see a reason for a rate cut in September. And now, I looked into Hamak a bit more and looked at what she had said in the past to see if she was one of the people who supported or opposed rate cuts. It turns out that Hamak has always been against lowering interest rates. That's why nothing has really changed. That being said, this piece of news did get a lot of attention because people are worried and seeing it as a sign that maybe we won't cut rates after all. But I want to make sure you all remember that this is only one of 8. For every 8 people at the Federal Reserve who are against rate cuts, this is one. As one of the 8 Fed members who are against rate cuts, Fed Governor Cook is another one. There are already 4 other Fed members who want to lower interest rates. Most people in this room don't want to cut rates right now. That includes Hamak, Jerome Powell, Fed Governor Cook, and someone else whose name I don't know. So if Cook is fired and Hamak is now being looked at by the DOJ or Trump, we just need one of them to quit and be replaced with someone who wants to lower interest rates, right? That's pretty much where we are now. I wouldn't say it's a deadlock because Trump seems to be the one who is trying to start a fight right now by asking the DOJ to look into Fed Governor Cook. We are going to watch this study to see what happens. Lisa Cook has made it clear that she won't be forced to step down, so I'm interested in what will happen here. Will she keep her word, or will she finally give in and say, okay, I'm going to step down because this is getting too serious? It will be very bad for her if they find anything on her. And, you know, Trump is doing everything he can. For example, he is looking into the huge building that the Federal Reserve was in charge of, which cost $5 billion and was fully funded by the government. He is looking into that. He is looking into Lisa Cook, and most likely they will begin to look into Hamak, everyone who doesn't want rates to go down. From what I can tell, they want to look into these people, and to put it mildly, things are getting serious. Now, I just wanted to quickly go over the European Union, the 15% taxes, and the $750 billion investment deal one more time. That is, this could be good or bad based on how you look at it. If you look at the big picture, with 15% taxes instead of 25% tariffs, the US will get less money in the long run. With the $750 billion investment deal, they did get a lot more up front, which helped to make up for a lot of those taxes. Basically, the EU government is under more pressure than the automakers and builders to come up with a lot of money. In a nutshell, that means that the European government and the automakers are now both under fire. It really did happen like that, instead of just 25% going to the auto business. And what do I think is going to happen now? There are many parts that can move, right? Russia and Ukraine are at war. You should know that we have these taxes. There's the Federal Reserve and all this talk about interest rates. There are many parts that can move, right? It's much easier to see why it's so hard for people to guess when this bull run will end and the market will stop basically making ground. But if we look at the charts, we can see very clearly that from a technical point of view, we're in a great place to start moving up, right? Right now, the stochastic RSI is too low. So cool. The same thing happened to us here. The gathering was nice. We went from this low point of 274 to this high point of 338, right? You would have done very well if you bought when we were oversold right here, or really at any point in this time period and then sold anywhere up here when we were overpriced. Because of this, we're in a very similar situation right now. We have a time when we can buy here. As a reminder, the last overpriced period lasted from July 26th to August 4th, right? So during this time, which lasted about a week and a half, there were many chances to buy on different dips. That's what I did.